let's get this started. My name is Brian Alvarez, and I started a company last year. I announced it in the beginning of this year, and it's now April, and I've learned a lot. I really have. And I would like to give a good hint or a good idea of what I've done in the last 3 months. I can't say I've productively done something to my business every single day, because I am a proud husband to a small business owner, a proud father of 3 girls. I work nights, hence I'm doing this at 3 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes sleep schedule can kind of be all over the place, but I can honestly say that this has been a passion of mine. I've had this thought of, what would my podcast look like? What would I do for content wise? Probably since around COVID. And over the years, I've had like small steps towards this. I have early footage of me using video recordings as almost like, day-to-day entries into like what would seem to be my thought process and what's going on in my life. And I don't plan on really putting those out. They're more for me, for anything else, for my sanity. But I do believe that this is a long time coming. And for the people who know me, they know that I have a bad tendency, or bad trait, bad hobby, whatever you want to call it, to kind of start something and then just drop it at the end. Over the years, I've kind of noticed that I get hyper fixated. I get very interested into a certain topic. If it's 2-3 hours to up to a year, understanding my thought process and what I like to do and how I handle some of these projects, unfortunately it takes a long time, but I do believe that I think I've gotten down a lot better than it used to be, at least. And I would like to really show the world that everything I would like to do on a day-to-day basis, and from any hobbies of mine, from it's just being a dad, not really a hobby. It's a lifestyle that I'm gifted and honored to have this experience. $3 is no joke, and I can only go so far without my wife's help, without family members' help. Even my daughters help me on being a good father. So it really is a learning experience, and I absolutely love every second of it. I really do. Kind of hinted the pink hat. I just got this as a gift from my wife and kids. But I guess probably start with the name of the podcast. This is the Midwest Chicano podcast. This is my personal podcast. I have a second podcast that's solely based around the promotion of the entrepreneurs and their day-to-day life, and try to get middle America, the backbone of America, back to living to the best of their abilities. Right now, the world isn't in the best shape. the economy isn't in the best state, and for some it's great, for a lot it's not. And I can't say I'm in the worst position. I'm definitely not in the best position. There's been ups and downs just like everybody else. But I think if I can help out the entrepreneurs, the small mom and pop shops, the people that kind of grind it out every day, the people who have legacy in their family business, the people who, just had an idea and just, bet it on themselves. I would like to help those people in any way, instead of just sharing like a Facebook post or an Instagram post or whatever the case is. I think this is my way of doing what I love to do, the tech side of stuff, and helping out the middle class, which is the premise of the other podcast. But this is my personal podcast, and this is where you're going to kind of get to know me, my thought process, my ups and downs, good memories, bad memories, cool things I get to do, and events that I'm going to be heading to, and showing some of my content, art, whatever you want to call this. I do a little bit of traveling here and there, and I would really love to use some of the footage that I'm gonna put out on some of my YouTube and TikTok, profiles, and I would really like for people to, put their 2 cents in, and I feel like the people that are close to me have strong opinions on whatever part of my life I'm showing them. So I would love to see what the outside world, not just my inner circle, would say, or I don't know. This is a project that, like I said, it's been a long time coming. I've been listening to podcasts heavy, like multiple times a week, whenever I can. Obviously, being a parent, you can never do things for yourself anymore, but the beauty of being a podcast is you can listen to it on a walk or at the gym or on the way to work. And I think it's a very powerful thing, because today's world, attention spans are super short. Mine's super short. I can only pay attention now for so long. I don't think social media is making it any better. I believe, actually profit from it. And I plan on doing these long-term content, which is something that I loved since COVID, because there's not a lot of things to do at the time, and I've learned a lot. I've heard great stories, and I think it's just time for me to put my name and my company, my brand out to the world. Maybe it was Chicano. Why did I choose that name? For one, I'm not that creative. I would like to believe I am a bit creative. I do believe that the name just represents who I am at such a perfect level, I guess. Midwest. When you think of the Midwest, you don't really think the word Chicano. And a lot of people don't even know what that is. I've heard people try to pronounce it, and they have no idea, let alone, actually knowing what the term even means. And some people don't really go with it. Some people do. Depends, however you identify yourself as. Out west, you're gonna hear the term a lot. once you get closer to probably Chicago and surrounding areas, you probably hear it more often. But for the most part, Chicano is a term for Mexican American, first, second, third generation American with Mexican roots. It doesn't have to be Mexican roots. At least I would have considered that be a rule. It's not. It's a term of empowerment, of taking labels and rejection from different cultures. Mexican culture and American culture is very similar and very different. But Chicano culture is such a beautiful thing. It's right in the middle of both cultures, and there's something poetic when it comes to being in the middle of like these two worlds that never get to, sometimes don't get along, sometimes have great stories, great history. But Chicanos in the U.S. and Chicanos in Mexico are a very unique group of people. At least I think so, obviously. And from over the years, of culture has grown to Asian countries, all over the states, obviously Latin America. Lowrider culture, huge. I mean, every continent has a lowrider in it, and started, Southern California. There's arguments between, where it started from, San Jose or San Diego, LA, but I wouldn't consider arguments, but you start watching videos and documentaries, you're gonna see that people don't really, there's always like, we started this first, whatever. But lowriding, huge part of the culture, and I fell in love with it at a very young age. So young that my first big buy in life was a lowrider bicycle, and I just started putting parts together, watching people turn their heads when they're driving or just walking by and kind of giving a thumbs up or giving a thumbs down. It was pretty cool feeling to be like, it's a unique thing. You don't see that. You don't see lowrider bikes out and about in the Midwest, especially Iowa. And then I got the car, my first car, 1985 Buick Regal, limited edition. It was my compadre called me. He said, "Hey man, I think I found something for you," and sure shit, he really did. And I bought it. As soon as I seen it, I'm like, yeah. And I believe that same year or the following year, I ended up joining a club. Got in touch with some guys from a club out of Marshtown, Iowa, and it was a good time, good memories. I hope to go out to their shows and their events, hopefully this summer. But I do believe that a big part of me is about lowrider culture. Trying to bring that to the Midwest, trying to bring that to Iowa specifically. It was a unique challenge, but I was up for it. I did leave. I don't want to say I gave up on it. I watched content. A lot of things happen in life. I don't know if I can explain life to anybody else. This is not one of those podcasts or shows or it's like, feel sorry for me about whatever issues or whatever stories I can tell. I don't want anyone's pity. But just like everybody else in life, everybody has their ups and downs. And it's unfortunate sometimes how things turn out, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I'm in a position in life where I'm happy, and I'm excited. I'm excited to come back to the world of low riding because I haven't been the same since I left. And I still have the Regal, and I plan on doing some content on it, some build videos and show events, and I'm happy to say I'm a prospect in a new club based out of the Quad Cities, and they seem like there's some pretty good guys in the group, and I'm excited to meet and get to know a lot of these guys. And I know a few of them since I was recent when I first was introduced into the community over a decade ago. And so when the opportunity showed up to become part of the lowrider community again, I jumped. Of course, I asked my wife and my kids, and like, what do you think about Daddy going to? We used to go to car shows every summer, but more often. And my wife knows, it's a lifestyle that, you're going to be in the garage a lot. You're going to be, a lot of family events and group events, and it can be a busy lifestyle. But it's very rewarding, and I would love to come back to all of it. And now that it's spring, I'm eager to get back out there and fucking try to make as many memories and good times as possible. And obviously, go to a few cruises and enjoy life with some new friends and build some relationships with people from had a different point of view and different lifestyle, and I'm excited. I really am. So yeah, if you see me looking at my tablet here a lot, it's because I'm using my tablet as it's like my main hub for my entire business. And if you see me editing or doing anything, it's going to be on my phone and my tablet. And it's something that I, first of all, I'm cheap and this is expensive tech, and I haven't got a case for it yet, but I need to get a case, a screensaver at the very least, screen protector. But just like you just noticed there, I kind of sidetracked from the conversation there. You're gonna notice that I'm gonna be doing a lot of that. A big part of my life and a big part of my everyday struggle is with ADHD, and I throw these sarcastic quotations because, it was a struggle growing up. I was never good at school. Kind of gave up. Did the bare minimum. I was lucky to graduate. I had good people around me that encouraged me, and I graduated 2 years late, but I graduated, and I'm one of those super seniors. Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing, but it's done. Whatever. I do plan on talking about stuff in the past, and sometimes it can be a bit emotional. Sometimes it can be this is gonna be like the personal side of my brand, and I'm not a very outgoing guy. If you just randomly come up to me in public and you can't catch me off guard, I'm gonna have all these crazy thoughts. I'm like, whoa, shit! Like, hold up! Like, I didn't, plan to run into you. Like, maybe I had a question. I haven't seen you in a long time, or maybe I just seen you a second ago and I wanted to ask you something. Anyways, ADHD. So that's so if I tend to if I tend to, steer away from the conversation, don't hate me. So I do. I am proud to say that I finally took professional advice, and it really changed my life. Getting the right medications and the right help, the right tips from professionals to better equip and better handle day-to-day tasks and projects. It's helped. I'm not saying I'm not healed or even got it down completely, but I do have a better grasp on it. And the word that my wife described it as was life-changing. So, just like that old saying goes, happy wife, happy life. I agree. It has helped my career. It has helped do things in life that I couldn't focus on for any more than a few minutes. But overall, it's a big part of my life. So expect a lot of ADHD content. I'm gonna be doing a lot of ranting on here. Whatever. I'm doing my best to stay with politics. Politics in the U.S. The one thing that I can see that not everybody, I guess. The one thing that I can see that people agree on both sides of the two major parties is it's if you can fit yourself in a box and agree 100% with everything that somebody else says because somebody tells you how to think, how to act, what to believe, you're in a cult. That's both sides. And having arguments with people, trying to change your point of view on stuff is not my goal here. I hear you out. And obviously, like I said earlier, I'm in the Midwest, in Iowa. I'm around a lot of conservatives. I'm around, some liberal friends and family, and I love all of them. Some of the craziest people are some of the most entertaining people I've ever met, and some of the most open-minded people have been some of the most inspiring people I've ever met, and I've never been so intrigued, but I used to have like the idea, like what if I can bring some of these people together and have these like long-term conversations and see where that go. Are we throwing haymakers at the end of the conversation, or are we shaking hands? And I would like to think, as Americans, as humans, that our life kind of depends on us working together for like a better lifestyle, a better surrounding for future generations. And as a father, it's a high priority. So I just got a notification that my battery's gonna die. So if you see some edits in my content, for one, I'm very intrigued with video editing and color grading. I'm on DaVinci right now, and I can spend all day doing all that. So I expect some crazy edits, some expect no edits at all. It's one of the things that if you see me looking down, super focused on my tablet, it's probably because I'm doing some type of editing. I just put out a video, my first official video of my brand, with color grading, with video editing, this mic that my wonderful and very gracious wife gave me for free. She gave me this mic, and I'm doing the best I can with what I got. Obviously, I'm not few thousand dollar, multi-billion dollar fucking, I guess not $1 billion, but I'm not in a super nice studio. I'm in my basement. I designated this one room for just the studio. This is my studio. If you wonder what that paper says, it literally says name is Chicano Productions Studio. It's official if it's a piece of paper on the wall. So I'm trying to make this as official as possible because I feel like I can. I've always kind of had the dream, I have a lot of dreams, a lot of projects, a lot of big things I want to do in life. And I'm in my early 30s now, and as a father, as a husband, as a person of a lot of dreams, I would like to get as much stuff done as I can, and I want to have fun and love doing it at the same time. So because my battery is at 5%, I'm gonna end this section of this episode. I'm gonna have more content out. I'm not really good with promises. Something always comes up for me. I do my best, but sometimes I just need to sleep. Sometimes things, it takes my attention away, and I hyper focus on a different thing. Regardless, my goal here is to post podcast wise. This podcast is going to be a lot easier to do because I can sit here and rant all night. I prefer not to because, I got shit to do. But I plan on doing this podcast every 2 weeks. Entrepreneurs podcast every month with a new business owner, and regardless of the size of their business, or a group of people or whatever, I just battery.